I get to talk with David McLane yet again and finally get to meet Santana Garrett. So I am excited about this interview. Yeah.
That's right. You got
Likewise.
David and Santana Garrett. One of the first times, I think only the second in history we've ever been together on any press event.
Well,
That's right.
To be with you, RC.
Well, the thrill is always mine, David, as you know. And, WOW is still making waves, living up to its name of WOW, Women of Wrestling. We got a great card coming up this weekend, especially with the Mighty Mites teaming up with Xena Phoenix. But there has been a little bit of controversy on Instagram thanks to Animal Instinct, who feel like they've been locked in a kennel and haven't been unleashed by you to take on the tag team division.
Well, they're getting their shots. Everyone's, they're complaining, they're barking and meowing, I might say, Animal Instinct, Katarina and Goldie, but they're getting their shots. They're not locked out. So as you'll see this weekend, getting a shot. Now, I believe Paola is getting a shot also at the title, and she captured that by a little chicanery there from Samantha Smart. Otherwise, it'd be Santana Garrett in the main event this weekend. But I think she's in there against Sylvia Sanchez. Am I correct on that?
I believe so. And
yeah,
so we're making sure nobody's running afoul, and to play it up with the Animal Instinct, FOWL. Yeah.
Nice pun there.
That's cute.
Santana, you've been the champion before.
Yes.
Classmaster is, shall we say, not the most ethical when it comes to her study habits. What's the hunger to get that belt back? I mean, you were gone for a little while. You came back. You have the instinct and the talent to be champion. Yet, when it's more than one person and you got that manager ringside, they tend to, a little bit of chicanery.
Absolutely. And I cannot tell you, I'm determined. I'm excited. I am here for redemption, but I'm also getting a little bit annoyed at this point. I mean, we've got Classmaster with her little sidekick, Samantha Smart. We've got Paola with Albanian Maverick, and it's just becoming very challenging to secure some of these wins.
So who do we get in Santana's corner at this point?
You know what? That is something we should discuss.
Yeah. Well, that's why I brought it up. By the way, I want one of those velvet or one of those suede not one of those shiny jackets, whatever.
All right. Go to WOWE.com and hit that WowWare and see what's on there for purchase. Any of the people watching RC. WOWE.com and follow us on social media, Wow Superheroes.
Well,
and Santana and you both mentioned something about Paola's manager and Classmasters. This weekend, you'll see Samantha Smart and Albanian Maverick handcuffed. They'll be handcuffed to the pole, so they won't be interfering in this weekend's matchup.
Ooh, well, that's going to make things a little more interesting in that regard.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's in everyone's best interest.
Santana, with Sylvia Sanchez being your opponent this week, you can't necessarily overlook her, even though there is that height discrepancy and she's definitely not at eye level. But,
Sure.
How do you make sure that you focus on Sylvia while knowing that the title reign is in grasp?
Here's the thing. Sylvia Sanchez is incredibly talented, but knowing my history, I've been doing this for over 16 years. I've been WOW Women's Champion. I've been a WOW Tag Team Champion. I'm excited to wrestle someone like Sylvia. I think her style is incredible, but I've also wrestled all over the world. I've wrestled luchadors. I've wrestled the girls in Japan. I've traveled all over the world. So I'm prepared for this match. And I know based off of recent history in WOW that I have to keep an eye on basically everything around the ring, backstage, just so we don't have any outside interference. So my guard is definitely up.
especially with somebody like
I
Sylvia.
want to note something, RC, because you have a lot of true wrestling fans that follow you. You want to see technicians in the ring, watch this weekend, because from Santana and Miss Sanchez, who trains down in Texas, you've got two technicians going into the ring to battle each other, and it's going to be a great matchup.
That's right.
You know, David, I do need to make mention of this. This is your 40th year in women's wrestling as a promoter. If we go back
Amazing.
to Glow, which debuted in at the end of 1985, and here we are in 2025. See you being there firsthand, seeing the evolution of what women's wrestling has become. WWE is bringing back Evolution for the first time in 8 years, yet you've had this continuous momentum. As a promoter and as someone that's been behind the scenes, how exciting is it for you not only to be recognized in this time frame, but seeing others following in your footsteps and bringing in and elevating women's wrestling?
Oh, well, it's exciting. That was the goal. I can remember going to a match like Santana, who went to wrestling growing up in St. Louis. I grew up in Indiana. And Santana, I know with her dad, went to matches, went to state fair events, etc. I was at a state fair event. I asked Sam Miniker. Sandy Partlow was a wrestler on the card, and I said, "How come she can't change in the locker room? She has to go out to her car." And he said, "She's just one of the women wrestlers. They don't get a locker room." And I was only about 16 or 15 then, and I said to myself, I looked at him, I go, "Well, that isn't right. That isn't right. Shouldn't the women get their own locker room?" He said, "It's just a women's wrestling." That was the seed where I said, "God, women's wrestling, this is exciting. They should treat them better." So it's great to see the WWE, AEW, NWA, the other organizations elevate their women's wrestling. And if I played a part in any of that, I'm fortunate and lucky I did, because I'm a believer in it. And I always, even from the first day when I told the Bruiser, I said the women could pack it, they could make it happen. And WOW's a testament to that, because every week we've got near 1 million people. There's 10 million fans in WOW now. It's grown to that capacity. We've just launched or announced this last week. We have a new distribution partner in Roku. They're putting on a 24-hour women wrestling channel called Wrestling Central, showing NWA and WOW programming together. We're on Vice TV. There's a 24/7 women's channel on Pluto, where you can watch WOW constantly. And then, of course, every weekend in all 210 markets in the United States, WOW airs in syndication twice on each weekend on each station. Third year in a row for that. So
Well,
it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible, and I'm lucky to be a part of it.
Well, from noticing the lack of safety, because, you know, at that time it was perfectly safe to be a half-naked girl changing in the parking lot in your own vehicle, to now putting WOW in the forefront and giving somebody like Santana yet another chance to become WOW Women's Champion.
Yeah, Santana's our Caitlin Clark. I mean, when she comes out, the people turn out for her. They don't sit in the seats. They're up standing and applauding for her. And everyone wants to see her become the WOW champion again, especially her dad, Kenny G, who's watching down on her.
Absolutely. And David, like, I'm so grateful for you, not only for what you've done for women's wrestling. You believed in us before we believed in ourselves. And you and WOW gave me an opportunity, one of my very first opportunities. I'll never forget my first time in Las Vegas. And you put us up at a hotel, and I get in the elevator, and my poster was right there in the elevator, and I'm standing in front of it, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. And it's only gone up from there. So I appreciate everything you've done for women's wrestling. I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I'm just honored to be a part of WOW.
Well, I'm lucky to have you, Santana, and RC, because I met him at one of the first WOW tapings in LA when we moved back from Las Vegas. But I can remember RC meeting Santana Garrett, having her come to Vegas. I sat in a room with her and Amber O'Neill, told them the idea that Jeannie Buss and I shared to grow WOW. Jeannie's idea was to reboot it. She thought women's sports was going to go up, and she thought women's sports was going to grow in the coming years. So she was about a few years ahead of her time in thinking, as she always is. But look at where it is today, and look what's happening. And we're lucky to have Paramount Global Television as our partner, because they've steadfastly stayed behind it. And their president, Dan Cohen, noted to me, you're not in a sprint, you're in a long haul race to grow this. And so let's do it right. And we hope we are.
Well, I'm also looking for the next round of TV tapings that are going to be in Southern California, so I can finally meet Santana face to face, and of course always greet you in person, David.
Yes, we're putting those together as we speak.
You know, as everything progresses for a while, we have the Trios Tag Team Championship. We got a Trios match. I believe it's Spring Break 24/7 versus Chainsaw, Daisy Lane, and Fury. It's definitely going to be the darkness versus the sun and the fun. You know, how exciting is it to have the Trios division now, since we have 3 sets of titles, the Tag, Trios, and WOW Women's World Championship?
It gives us another level, because you see Santana going for the main prize, the championship in single competition. You have a very aggressive tag team competition in WOW. I'd say one of the best. And now we've got the Trios Championship. And I didn't know how it was going to be taken, how well, but I got not everyone agrees with top tier, but I got to take my hat off to Coach Campanelli. She's put a good team together. Gloria Glitter's been in the wrestling game for quite some time. She's wrestled on the independent circuit. Coach and Crush, learning the trade here at WOW, have just accelerated their in-ring skills. And that comes from them being great athletes. Candy Crush, of course, being a synchronized swimmer that was going to go to the Olympics, and then a boxer for 4 to 5 years, has transitioned herself into wrestling fabulously. And Coach Campanelli, I say it with a joke, if you ask her about her athletic skills, she's a 10 in every sport she's ever tried. But she is an athlete, and the 3 of them combined, RC, really elevate WOW's programming and live events, because it's a new dynamic.
Well, they might be top tier in the ring, but their personalities and behaviors are scraping the bottom of the barrel, and that's not fair to the Trios division.
Well said, RC. Yeah. Well said.
Well, Santana, we can get you the world title and then find you 2 tag team partners to try to get the Trios as well.
You know what? I love that. Book it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
RC, you're a historian. I should know these things. We'd have to get Nigel. Has someone ever been the singles world champion and the tag champion at the same time?
Not in WOW, which is something that we could.
I knew that.
Okay.
In other leagues, they've had that.
I think it's happened in WWE once, but never a women's world champion and a trios champion at the same time either.
Interesting.
Boy, you're just popping the ideas into Santana today.
I gotta do some research, find some partners that I
well, just call Nigel. He's down there in Florida. He's on your same time zone.
Sure will.
He'll know.
There is a WOW stacked roster to make it happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so much opportunity.
And
RC, what do you think about that? You've seen WOW grow over the last 3 to 4 years.
I've always had a great time coming out to WOW shows, speaking with you. Miami Sweet Heat and I had become fast friends till, their situation with Lana Star. But it seems like they're turning that around and are opening their eyes to new possibilities.
Well, you go to a lot of events now. You know, boxing, you're at those events, you're at movie premieres. You did something with Glow up in LA, I know. theater production with Glow?
There was a play dedicated to Glow where I played Matt Simber, and I was several voices off stage as well. So, there's a lot of things going on for live theater, professional wrestling, movies, mixed martial arts, and other combat sports. So you're part of the reason why we're still busy.
Well, I love it, and I love your enthusiasm for it.
WoW is getting ready to make this big push. There's this new channel on Roku, YouTube. We can catch up on individual matches or try to watch the whole show, everything that's going on. What's one final statement you would like to tell the audience when they're seeking your show? And then Santana, the last thing you want to say, we'll give you the final word for your match with Sylvia.
Sure.
Mine is spread the word. WoW is the most accessible wrestling show out there, and it's still growing, and we're not where we want to be. The announcement of Roku is great. Some new eyeballs will come on it because they'll watch NWA, and they might, traditional wrestling fans, then see WoW. But spread the word, and what you're doing is so important because you've been a proponent of raising our flag for so long, RC. We appreciate it. I believe when you watch WoW, you're going to see something unique. You're going to appreciate the athleticism. And it is the only all-women's wrestling program in the world distributed globally by Paramount. And we're excited about it. We've got veterans that are in the ring. We've got trainees that we've trained. We have the only all-women's wrestling school in the entire world in Los Angeles that trains women to become wrestlers and wrestle in WoW. So it's exciting, and my word is watch WoW, become part of the WoW world. Look at us on any social media at wowsuperheroes.com. Go to the website, get some apparel, get some WoW wear, and promote us. We gotta keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's exciting to see where women's wrestling can go because it hasn't gone where it's supposed to yet.
But we're on our way, definitely. And so when we talk about athleticism and competitiveness, that's exactly what you're going to see in my match against Sylvia Sanchez. Although no title on the line, we're going to give you a heck of a match, and it's something I'm really looking forward to.
WoW this weekend. Check your local listings in syndication, YouTube, Pluto TV, the new Roku channel. David McLane, Santana Garrett, thank you so much as always. Great pleasure chatting with you. Hopefully I get to do a school visit so we can check out what the training looks like and do a feature on that as well.
Very cool idea. Thank you, RC.
Thanks, RC. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.